Captain America Bow, Business Head Office. For other uses, see Captain America, Disambiguation. Steve Rogers, Marvel Comics, redirects here. For the film character, see Steve Rogers, Marvel Cinematic Universe. Steve Rogers. Captain America. Captain America bursting through a page of newspaper. Captain America number 109, January 1969. Cover art by Jack Kirby and Sid Shores. Publication information. Publisher Marvel Comics. First appearance Captain America Comics number 1, March 1941. Created by Joe Simon. Jack Kirby. In-story information. Alter ego Steven Rogers. Team affiliations. Avengers. Avengers Unity Division. All Winners Squad. Illuminati. Invaders. Landau, Luckman, and Lake. New Avengers. Project Rebirth. Redeemers. SHIELD. Secret Avengers. Secret Defenders. U.S. Army. Partnerships. Bucky Barnes. Falcon. Sharon Carter. Notable aliases Nomad. The Captain. Abilities. Enhanced strength, speed, stamina, durability, agility, reflexes, senses, and mental processing via the Super Soldier Serum. Master martial artist and hand-to-hand combatant. Accelerated healing. Immunity to diseases and toxins. Slowed aging. Master tactician, strategist, and field commander. Using vibranium steel alloy shield. Captain America is a superhero appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics. Created by cartoonists Joe Simon and Jack Kirby, the character first appeared in Captain America Comics number 1, cover dated March 1941, from Timely Comics, a predecessor of Marvel Comics. Captain America was designed as a patriotic super soldier who often fought the Axis powers of World War II and was Timely Comics' most popular character during the wartime period. The popularity of superheroes waned following the war, and the Captain America comic book was discontinued in 1950, with a short-lived revival in 1953. Since Marvel Comics revived the character in 1964, Captain America has remained in publication. The character wears a costume bearing an American flag motif, and he utilizes a nearly indestructible shield that he throws as a projectile. Captain America is the alter ego of Steve Rogers, a frail young artist enhanced to the peak of human perfection by an experimental super soldier serum after joining the military to aid the United States government's efforts in World War II. Near the end of the war, he was trapped in ice and survived in suspended animation until he was revived in modern times. Although Captain America often struggles to maintain his ideals as a man out of his time, he remains a highly respected figure in his community, which includes becoming the longtime leader of the Avengers. Captain America was the first Marvel Comics character to appear in media outside comics with the release of the 1944 movie serial, Captain America. Since then, the character has been featured in other films and television series. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU, the character is portrayed by Chris Evans. Captain America was ranked 6th on IGN's Top 100 Comic Book Heroes of All Time in 2011, 2nd in their list of the Top 50 Avengers in 2012, 2, and 2nd in their Top 25 Best Marvel Superheroes list in 2014. 3. Contents. 1. Publication history. 1.1 Creation. 1.2 Golden Age. 1.3 Silver and Bronze Age. 1.4 Modern Age. 2 Legal status. 3 Fictional character biography. 3.1 20th century. 3.2 21st century. 4 Powers and abilities. 4.1 Tactician and Field Commander. 4.2 Super Soldier Serum. 4.3 Artist. 4.4 Weapons and equipment. 5 antagonists. 6 other versions. 6.1 Stephen Rogers, Revolutionary War Era. 6.2 Bob Russo, Scar Turpin, and Roscoe Simmons. 6.3 Dave Rickford. 6.4 1602. 6.5 1872. 6.6 Age of Ultron. 6.7 Age of X. 6.8 Amalgam Comics. 6.9 Avatars, Covenant of the Shield. 6.10 Bishop's Future. 6.11 Bullet Points. 6.12 Captain America, Guardian of Freedom. 6.13 Captain Colonies. 6.14 Civil War. 6.15 Civil Warrior. 6.16 Danielle Cage. 6.17 DC vs. Marvel. 6.18 Deadpool, Merc with a Mouth. 6.19 Earth X. 6.20 Elseworlds. 6.21 Exiles. 6.22 House of M. 6.23 JLA/Avengers. 6.24 Kyoshi Morales. 6.25 Last Avengers Story. 6.26 Larval Earth. 6.27 Little Marvel. 6.28 Marvel 2099. 6.29 Marvel Apes. 6.30 Marvel Mangaverse. 6.31 Marvel Zombies. 6.32 MC2. 6.33 Mutant X. 6.34 Next Wave, Agents of HAVE. 6.35 Old Man Logan. 6.36 Peggy Carter. 6.37 Ruins. 6.38 Spider-Gwen. 6.39 Spider Island. 6.40 Spider-Man, Life Story. 6.41 Truth, Red, White, and Black. 6.42 Ultimate Marvel. 6.43 Weapon X, Days of Future Now. 6.44 What If. 7 See Also. 8 References. 9 External links. Publication history. Further information, list of Captain America titles. Creation. In 1940, writer Joe Simon conceived the idea for Captain America and made a sketch of the character in costume. 4. I wrote the name Super American at the bottom of the page, Simon said in his autobiography, and then decided. No, it didn't work. There were too many supers around. Captain America had a good sound to it. There weren't a lot of captains in comics. It was as easy as that. The boy companion was simply named Bucky, after my friend Bucky Pearson, a star on our high school basketball team. 5. Simon recalled in his autobiography that Timely Comics publisher Martin Goodman gave him the go-ahead and directed that a Captain America solo comic book series be published as soon as possible. Needing to fill a full comic with primarily one character's stories, Simon did not believe that his regular creative partner, artist Jack Kirby, could handle the workload alone. I didn't have a lot of objections to putting a crew on the first issue. There were 2 young artists from Connecticut that had made a strong impression on me. Al Avizan and Al Gabriel often worked together and were quite successful in adapting their individual styles to each other. Actually, their work was not too far from that of Kirby's. If they worked on it, and if one inker tied the 3 styles together, I believed the final product would emerge as quite uniform. The 2 ALS were eager to join in on the new Captain America book, but Jack Kirby was visibly upset. You're still number 1, Jack, I assured him. It's just a matter of a quick deadline for the first issue. I'll make the deadline, Jack promised. I'll pencil it all myself and make the deadline. I hadn't expected this kind of reaction, but I acceded to Kirby's wishes and, it turned out, was lucky that I did. There might have been 2 ALS, but there was only 1 Jack Kirby. I wrote the first Captain America book with penciled lettering right on the drawing boards, with very rough sketches for figures and backgrounds. Kirby did his thing, building the muscular anatomy, adding ideas and popping up the action as only he could. Then he tightened up the penciled drawings, adding detailed backgrounds, faces and figures. 5. 1974 Comic Art Convention program featuring Simon's original sketch of Captain America. Al Lieberman would ink that first issue, which was lettered by Simon and Kirby's regular letterer, Howard Ferguson. 6. Simon said Captain America was a consciously political creation. He and Kirby were morally repulsed by the actions of Nazi Germany in the years leading up to the United States' involvement in World War II and felt war was inevitable. The opponents to the war were all quite well organized. We wanted to have our say too. 7. Golden Age. The front page of the first Captain America comic depicts Captain America punching Adolf Hitler in the jaw. A Nazi soldier's bullet deflects from Captain America's shield, while Adolf Hitler falls onto a map of the United States of America and a document reading "Sabotage Plans for USA." Captain America Comics No. 1, March 1941. Cover art by Joe Simon, inks and pencils, and Jack Kirby, pencils. Captain America Comics No. 1, cover dated March 1941 8, and on sale December 20, 1940, 9/10, a year before the attack on Pearl Harbor, but a full year into World War II, showed the protagonist punching Nazi leader Adolf Hitler. It sold nearly 1 million copies. 11. While most readers responded favorably to the comic, some took objection. Simon noted, "When the first issue came out we got a lot of threatening letters and hate mail. Some people really opposed what Cap stood for." 7. The threats, which included menacing groups of people loitering out on the street outside of the offices, proved so serious that police protection was posted, with New York Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia personally contacting Simon and Kirby to give his support. 12. Though preceded as a patriotically themed superhero by MLJ's The Shield, Captain America immediately became the most prominent and enduring of that wave of superheroes introduced in American comic books prior to and during World War II. 13. As evidenced by the unusual move at the time of premiering the character in his own title instead of an anthology title first. This popularity drew the attention and a complaint from MLJ that the character's triangular shield too closely resembled the chest symbol of their Shield character. In response, Goodman had Simon and Kirby create a distinctive round shield for issue 2, which went on to become an iconic element of the character. 14. With his sidekick Bucky, Captain America faced Nazis, Japanese, and other threats to wartime America and the Allies. Stanley Lieber, now better known as Stan Lee, in his first professional fiction writing task, contributed to the character in issue No. 3 in the filler text story Captain America Foils the Traitor's Revenge, which introduced the character's use of his shield as a returning throwing weapon. 15. Captain America soon became Timely's most popular character and even had a fan club called the Sentinels of Liberty. 7. Circulation figures remained close to 1 million copies per month after the debut issue, which outstripped even the circulation of news magazines such as Time during the period. 13-16. The character was widely imitated by other comics publishers, with around 40 red, white and blue patriotic heroes debuting in 1941 alone. 17. After the Simon and Kirby team moved to DC Comics in late 1941, having produced Captain America comics through issue No. 10, January 1942, Al Avizan and Sid Shores became regular pencilers of the celebrated title, with one generally inking over the other. The character was featured in All Winners Comics No. 1-19, Summer 1941, Fall 1946, Marvel Mystery Comics #1980-1984 and No. 86-92, USA Comics No. 6-17, December 1942, Fall 1945, and All Select Comics No. 1-10, Fall 1943, Summer 1946. In the post-war era, With the popularity of superheroes fading, Captain America led Timely's first superhero team, the All Winners Squad, in its two published adventures, in All Winners Comics number 19 and number 21, Fall-Winter 1946, there was no issue number 20. After Bucky was shot and wounded in a 1948 Captain America story, he was succeeded by Captain America's girlfriend, Betsy Ross, who became the superheroine Golden Girl. Captain America Comics ran until issue number 73, July 1949, 18, at which time the series was retitled Captain America's Weird Tales for 2 issues, 19, with the finale being a horror, suspense anthology issue with no superheroes. Atlas Comics attempted to revive its superhero titles when it reintroduced Captain America, along with the original Human Torch and the Submariner, in Young Men number 24, December 1953. Billed as Captain America, Commie Smasher. Captain America appeared during the next year in Young Men number 24 to 28 and Men's Adventures number 27 to 28, as well as in issues number 76 to 78 of an eponymous title. Atlas' attempted superhero revival was a commercial failure, 20, and the character's title was cancelled with Captain America number 78, September 1954. Silver and Bronze Age. Avengers number 4, March 1964. Cover art by Jack Kirby and George Rousas. In the Human Torch story titled Captain America in Marvel Comics Strange Tales number 114, November 1963, 21, writer-editor Stan Lee and artist and co-plotter Jack Kirby depicted the brash young Fantastic Four member Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, in an exhibition performance with Captain America, described as a legendary World War II and 1950s superhero who has returned after many years of apparent retirement. The 18-page story ends with this Captain America revealed as an imposter. It was actually the villain, the Acrobat, a former circus performer the Torch had defeated in Strange Tales number 106, who broke 2 thieves out of jail, hoping to draw the police away while trying to rob the local bank. Afterward, Storm digs out an old comic book in which Captain America is shown to be Steve Rogers. A caption in the final panel says this story was a test to see if readers would like Captain America to return. According to Lee, fan response to the tryout was very enthusiastic. 22. Captain America was then formally reintroduced in the Avengers number 4, March 1964, 23, which explained that in the final days of World War II, he had fallen from an experimental drone plane into the North Atlantic Ocean and spent decades frozen in a block of ice in a state of suspended animation. The hero found a new generation of readers as leader of that superhero team. Following the success of other Marvel characters introduced during the 1960s, Captain America was recast as a hero haunted by past memories, and trying to adapt to 1960s society. 24. After then guest starring in the feature Iron Man in Tales of Suspense number 58, October 1964, Captain America gained his own solo feature in that split book, beginning the following issue. 25, issue number 63, March 1965, which retold Captain America's origin, through issue number 71, November 1965, was a period feature set during World War II and co-starred Captain America's Golden Age sidekick, Bucky. Kirby drew all but 2 of the stories in Tales of Suspense, which became Captain America with number 100, April 1968, 26, Gil Kane and John Romita Sr., each filled in once. Several stories were finished by penciler-inker George Tuska over Kirby layouts, with one finished by Romita Sr. and another by penciler Dick Ayers and inker John Tartaglione. Kirby's regular inkers on the series were Frank Giacoia, as Frank Ray, and Joe Sinnott, though Don Heck and Golden Age Captain America artist Sid Shores inked one story each. A story in issue number 155-157 revealed the 1950s commie smasher Captain America and Bucky to be imposters. This series, considered Captain America Volume 1 by comics researchers and historians. 27. Following the 1940s Captain America comics and its 1950s numbering continuation of Tales of Suspense, ended with number 454, August 1996. This series was almost immediately followed by the 13-issue Captain America Volume 2, November 1996, November 1997, part of the Heroes Reborn crossover. 28. The 50-issue Captain America Volume 3, January 1998, February 2002. 29. The 32-issue Captain America Volume 4, June 2002, December 2004. 30. And Captain America Volume 5, January 2005, August 2011. 31. Beginning with the 600th overall issue, August 2009, Captain America resumed its original numbering, as if the series numbering had continued uninterrupted after number 454. Modern Age. As part of the aftermath of Marvel Comics Company crossover storyline Civil War, Steve Rogers was ostensibly killed in Captain America Volume 5, number 25, March 2007. The storyline of Rogers' return began in issue number 600. 32-33, Rogers, who was not dead but caroming through time, returned to the present day in the 6-issue miniseries Captain America, Reborn, September 2009, March 2010. 34. After Rogers' return, Barnes, at Rogers' insistence, continued as Captain America, beginning in the one-shot comic Captain America, Who Will Wield the Shield? February 2010. While Bucky Barnes continued adventuring in the pages of Captain America, Steve Rogers received his own miniseries, Steve Rogers, Super Soldier, as well as taking on the leadership position in a new Secret Avengers ongoing series. Spin-off series included Captain America Sentinel of Liberty, September 1998, August 1999, and Captain America and the Falcon, May 2004, June 2005. The 1940s Captain America appeared alongside the 1940s Human Torch and Submariner in the 12-issue miniseries Avengers/Invaders. 35-36, the 2007 miniseries Captain America, The Chosen, written by David Morrell and penciled by Mitchell Breitweiser, depicts a dying Steve Rogers' final minutes at SHIELD headquarters, as his spirit guides James Newman, a young American Marine fighting in Afghanistan. The Chosen is not part of the main Marvel Universe continuity. 37-38. During the Two Americas storyline that ran in issues number 600-605, the series drew controversy for the similarity between protesters depicted in the comic and the Tea Party movement. Particularly drawing scorn was a panel of a protester holding sign that read "Teabag the libs before they teabag you." 39. Also drawing controversy were remarks made by the Falcon implying that the crowd is racist. 40. In his column on comic book resources, Marvel Comics editor-in-chief Joe Quesada apologized for the sign, claiming that it was a mistake, added by the letterer at the last minute. 41. The character, first as Agent Steve Rogers and later after resuming his identity as Captain America, appeared as a regular character throughout the 2010-2013 Avengers series, from issue number 1, July 2010, through its final issue number 34, January 2013. The character appeared as Agent Steve Rogers as a regular character in the 2010-2013 Secret Avengers series, from issue number 1, July 2010, through issue number 21, March 2012. The character made guest appearances as Captain America in issues number 21.1, number 22-23, number 35, and the final issue of the series number 37, March 2013. Marvel stated in May 2011 that Rogers, following the public death of Bucky Barnes in the Fear Itself miniseries, would resume his Captain America identity in a sixth volume of Captain America, by writer Ed Brubaker and artist Steve McNiven. 42-43, The Captain America title continued from issue number 620 featuring team-up stories with Bucky, number 620, number 628, 44, Hawkeye, number 629, number 632, 45, Iron Man, number 633 to 635, 46, Namor, number 635.1, 47, and Black Widow, number 636, number 640, 48, and the title ended its print run with issue number 640. Captain America is a regular character in Uncanny Avengers, 2012, beginning with issue number 1 as part of Marvel Now. Captain America Volume 7 was launched in November 2012 with a January 2013 cover date by writer Rick Remender and artist John Romita Jr. 49. On July 16, 2014, Marvel Comics announced that the mantle of Captain America would be passed on by Rogers, who in the most recent storyline has been turned into a 90-year-old man, to his longtime ally the Falcon, with the series being relaunched as All New Captain America. 50. Marvel announced that Rogers will become Captain America once again in the comic series Captain America, Steve Rogers. 51. This new series follows the events of Avengers: Standoff, in which Captain America is restored to his youthful state following an encounter with the sentient cosmic cube, Kabik, and his past is drastically rewritten under the instructions of the Red Skull. Afterward, Captain America plots to set himself and Hydra in a position where they can conquer America in Marvel's event Secret Empire. 52. Legal status. In 1966, Joe Simon sued the owners of Marvel Comics, asserting that he, not Marvel, was legally entitled to renew the copyright upon the expiration of the original 28-year term. The two parties settled out of court, with Simon agreeing to a statement that the character had been created under terms of employment by the publisher, and therefore it was work for hire owned by them. 53. In 1999, Simon filed to claim the copyright to Captain America under a provision of the Copyright Act of 1976, which allowed the original creators of works that had been sold to corporations to reclaim them after the original 56-year copyright term, but not the longer term enacted by the new legislation, had expired. Marvel Entertainment challenged the claim, arguing that the settlement of Simon's 1966 suit made the character ineligible for termination of the copyright transfer. Simon and Marvel settled out of court in 2003, in a deal that paid Simon royalties for merchandising and licensing use of the character. 53-54. Fictional character biography. 20th century. 1940s. Captain America and Bucky's debuts, in Captain America Comics No. 1, March 1941. Timely Comics. Art by Jack Kirby. Stephen Rogers was born in the Lower East Side of Manhattan, New York City, in 1920 to poor Irish immigrants, Sarah and Joseph Rogers. 55. Joseph died when Steve was a child, and Sarah died of pneumonia while Steve was a teen. By early 1940, before America's entry into World War II, Rogers is a tall, scrawny fine arts student specializing in illustration and a comic book writer and artist. Disturbed by the devastation of Europe by the Nazis, Rogers attempts to enlist but is rejected due to his frail body. His resolution attracts the notice of U.S. Army General Chester Phillips and Project Rebirth. Rogers is used as a test subject for the Super Soldier Project, receiving a special serum made by Dr. Joseph Reinstein, 56-57, later retroactively changed to a code name for the scientist Abraham Erskine. 58. The serum is a success and transforms Steve Rogers into a nearly perfect human being with peak strength, agility, stamina, and intelligence. The success of the program leaves Erskine wondering about replicating the experiment on other human beings. 57. The process itself has been inconsistently detailed. While in the original material Rogers is shown receiving injections of the super serum, when the origin was retold in the 1960s, the Comic Code Authority had already put a veto over graphic description of drug intake and abuse, and thus the super serum was retconned into an oral formula. 59. Erskine refused to write down every crucial element of the treatment, leaving behind a flawed, imperfect knowledge of the steps. Thus, when the Nazi spy Heinz Kruger killed him, Erskine's method of creating new super soldiers died. Captain America, in his first act after his transformation, avenges Erskine. In the 1941 origin story and in Tales of Suspense number 63, Kruger dies when running into machinery but is not killed by Rogers. In the Captain America number 109 and number 255 revisions, Rogers causes the spy's death by punching him into machinery. 57. Unable to create new super soldiers and willing to hide the Project Rebirth fiasco, the American government casts Rogers as a patriotic superhero, able to counter the menace of the Red Skull as a counterintelligence agent. He is supplied with a patriotic uniform of his own design, 55, a bulletproof shield, a personal sidearm, and the codename Captain America, while posing as a clumsy infantry private at Camp Lehigh in Virginia. He forms a friendship with the camp's teenage mascot, James Buchanan Bucky Barnes. 56. Barnes learns of Rogers' dual identity and offers to keep the secret if he can become Captain America's sidekick. During their adventures, Franklin D. Roosevelt presents Captain America with a new shield, forged from an alloy of steel and vibranium, fused by an unknown catalyst, so effective that it replaces his own firearm. 58. Throughout World War II, Captain America and Bucky fight the Nazi menace both on their own and as members of the superhero team The Invaders as seen in the 1970s comic of the same name. 60. Captain America fights in numerous battles in World War II, primarily as a member of 1st Battalion, 26th Infantry Regiment Blue Spaders. 61. Captain America battles a number of criminal menaces on American soil, including a wide variety of costumed villains, the Wax Man, 62, the Hangman, 63, the Fang, 64, the Black Talon, 65, and the White Death, 66, among others. In addition to Bucky, Captain America was occasionally assisted by the Sentinels of Liberty. 67. Sentinels of Liberty was the title given to members of the Captain America Comics fan club who Captain America sometimes addressed as an aside, or as characters in the Captain America Comics stories. In late April 1945, during the closing days of World War II, Captain America and Bucky try to stop the villainous Baron Zemo from destroying an experimental drone plane. Zemo launches the plane with an armed explosive on it with Rogers and Barnes in hot pursuit. The pair reaches the plane just before takeoff. When Bucky tries to defuse the bomb, it explodes in midair. Rogers is hurled into the freezing waters of the North Atlantic. Both are presumed dead, though it is later revealed that neither had died. 68. Late 1940s to 1950s. Captain America appeared in comics for the next few years, changing from World War II-era hero fighting the Nazis to confronting the United States' newest enemy, communism. The revival of the character in the mid-1950s was short-lived, and events during that time period are later retconned to show that multiple people operated using the code name to explain the changes in the character. These post-World War II successors are listed as William Naslund and Jeffrey Mace. They are assisted by Fred Davis continuing the role of Bucky. The last of these other official captains, William Burnside, 69, was a history graduate enamored with the Captain America mythos, having his appearance surgically altered to resemble Rogers and legally changing his name to Steve Rogers, becoming the new 1950s Captain America. 70. He administered to himself and his pupil James Jack Monroe a flawed, incomplete copy of the super serum, which made no mention about the necessary Vita-Ray portion of the treatment. As a result, while Burnside and Monroe became the new Captain America and Bucky, They became violently paranoid, often raving about innocent people being communist sympathizers during the height of the Red Scare of the 1950s. Their insanity forced the U.S. government to place them in indefinite cryogenic storage until they could be cured of their mental illness. 71. Monroe would later be cured and assume the nomad identity. 72. 1960s to 1970s. Years later, the superhero team The Avengers discovers Steve Rogers' body in the North Atlantic. After he revives, they piece together that Rogers has been preserved in a block of ice since 1945, surviving because of his enhancements from Project Rebirth. The block began to melt after the submariner, enraged that an Inuit tribe is worshipping the frozen figure, throws it into the ocean. 68. Rogers accepts membership in the Avengers, and his experience in individual combat service and his time with the invaders makes him a valuable asset. He quickly assumes leadership. 73, and has typically returned to that position throughout the team's history. Captain America number 180, December 1974. Captain America becomes nomad. Cover art by Gil Kane and Frank Giacoia. Captain America is plagued by guilt for having been unable to prevent Bucky's death. Although he takes the young Rick Jones, who closely resembles Bucky, under his tutelage, he refuses for some time to allow Jones to take up the Bucky identity, not wishing to be responsible for another youth's death. Insisting that his hero move on from that loss, Jones convinces Rogers to let him don the Bucky costume. 74. But this partnership lasts only a short time. A disguised Red Skull, impersonating Rogers with the help of the Cosmic Cube, drives Jones away. Rogers reunites with his old war comrade Nick Fury, who is similarly well preserved due to the Infinity Formula. As a result, Rogers regularly undertakes missions for the security agency SHIELD, for which Fury is public director. 75. Through Fury, Rogers befriends Sharon Carter, a SHIELD agent. 76, with whom he eventually begins a romantic relationship. Rogers later meets and trains Sam Wilson, who becomes the superhero the Falcon. 77, the first African-American superhero in mainstream comic books. 78-79, the characters established an enduring friendship and adventuring partnership, sharing the series title for some time as Captain America and the Falcon. 80, the two later encounter the revived but still insane 1950s Captain America. 70, 71, 81, 82, 83. Although Rogers and the Falcon defeat the foe Rogers and Jack Monroe, Rogers becomes deeply disturbed that he could have suffered his counterpart's fate. During this period, Rogers temporarily gains super strength. 84. The series dealt with the Marvel Universe's version of the Watergate scandal. 85, 86, 87. Making Rogers so uncertain about his role that he abandons his Captain America identity in favor of one called Nomad. 88, emphasizing the word's meaning as man without a country. During this time, several men unsuccessfully assume the Captain America identity. 89, Rogers eventually reassumes it after coming to consider that the identity could be a symbol of American ideals and not its government. It's a personal conviction epitomized when he later confronted a corrupt army officer attempting to manipulate him by appealing to his loyalty. "I'm loyal to nothing, General, except the American dream." Jack Monroe, cured of his mental instability, later takes up the Nomad alias. 90, Sharon Carter is believed to have been killed while under the mind control of Dr. Faustus. 91. 1980s to 1990s. Captain America number 350, February 1989. Rogers as the Captain vs. John Walker as Captain America. Cover art by Kieran Dwyer and Al Milgrom. The 1980s included a run by writer Roger Stern and artist John Byrne. Stern had Rogers consider a run for President of the United States in Captain America number 250, June 1980, 92. An idea originally developed by Roger McKenzie and Don Perlin. Stern, in his capacity as editor of the title, originally rejected the idea but later changed his mind about the concept. 93-94, Mackenzie and Perlin received credit for the idea on the letters page at Stern's insistence. 95, Stern additionally introduced a new love interest, law student Bernie Rosenthal, in Captain America number 248, August 1980. 96. Writer J. M. DeMatteis revealed the true face and full origin of the Red Skull in Captain America number 298-300, and had Captain America take on Jack Monroe, Nomad, as a partner for a time. 90. The heroes gathered by the Beyonder elect Rogers as leader during their stay on Battle World. 97. Homophobia is dealt with as Rogers runs into a childhood friend named Arnold Roth who is gay. 98-99. Mark Grunwald became the writer of the series with issue number 307, July 1985, and wrote 137 issues for 10 consecutive years from until number 443, September 1995, 100, the most issues by any single author in the character's history. Grunwald created several new foes, including Crossbones and the Serpent Society. Other Grunwald characters included Diamondback, 101, Super Patriot, 102, and Demolition Man. 103. Grunwald explored numerous political and social themes as well, such as extreme idealism when Captain America fights the anti-nationalist terrorist Flag Smasher, 104, and vigilantism when he hunts the murderous scourge of the underworld. 105. Rogers receives a large back pay reimbursement dating back to his disappearance at the end of World War II, and a government commission orders him to work directly for the U.S. government. Already troubled by the corruption he had encountered with the nuke incident in New York City, where the gangster supervillain, the Kingpin, used his corrupted contacts in the U.S. military to have the psychopathic test subject of a secret failed attempt to recreate Project Rebirth's body enhancements, nuke, attack Hell's Kitchen in a murderous rampage to draw Daredevil out of hiding. 106. Rogers chooses instead to resign his identity, 107-108, and then takes the alias of the Captain. 109. A replacement Captain America, John Walker, struggles to emulate Rogers' ideals until pressure from hidden enemies helps to drive Walker insane. Rogers returns to the Captain America identity. 110, while a recovered Walker becomes the U.S. agent. 111. Sometime afterward, Rogers avoids the explosion of a methamphetamine lab, but the drug triggers a chemical reaction in the super soldier serum in his system. To combat the reaction, Rogers has the serum removed from his body and trains constantly to maintain his physical condition. 112. A retcon later establishes that the serum was not a drug per se, which would have metabolized out of his system, but in fact a virus-like organism that affected a biochemical and genetic change. This additionally explained how Nemesis the Red Skull, who at the time inhabited a body cloned from Rogers' cells, has the formula in his body. Because of his altered biochemistry, Rogers' body begins to deteriorate, and for a time he must wear a powered exoskeleton and is eventually placed again in suspended animation. During this time, he is given a transfusion of blood from the Red Skull, which cures his condition and stabilizes the super soldier virus in his system. Captain America returns to crime fighting and the Avengers. 113-114. Following Grunwald's departure from the series, Mark Waid took over and resurrected Sharon Carter as Cap's love interest. The title was then relaunched under Rob Liefeld as Cap became part of the Heroes Reborn universe for 13 issues. 115, before another relaunch restored Waid to the title. 116, in an arc that saw Cap lose his shield for a time using an energy-based shield as a temporary replacement. Following Waid's run, Dan Jurgens took over and introduced new foe Protocide, a failed recipient of the super soldier serum prior to the experiment that successfully created Rogers. Sometime after this, Rogers' original shield was retrieved, but subtle damage sustained during the battle with the Beyonder resulted in it being shattered and a vibranium cancer being triggered that would destroy all vibranium in the world, with Rogers nearly being forced to destroy the shield before a confrontation with the villain Claw. Claw's attacks unwittingly repair the shield's fractured molecular bonds and negate cancer. 117. 21st century. 2000s. In the aftermath of the September 11 terrorist attacks, Rogers reveals his identity to the world and establishes a residence in the Red Hook neighborhood of Brooklyn, New York, as seen in Captain America Volume 4, No. 1-7, June 2002, February 2003. 118. Following the disbandment of the Avengers in the Avengers Disassembled story arc, Rogers, now employed by us.dokan.malik, discovers Bucky is alive, having been saved and deployed by the Soviets as the Winter Soldier. Rogers resumes his on-again, off-again relationship with us.dokan agent Sharon Carter. After a mass supervillain breakout of the Raft, Rogers and Tony Stark assemble a new team of Avengers to hunt the escapees. In the 2006-2007 company-wide story arc Civil War, Rogers opposes the new mandatory federal registration of superpowered beings, and leads the underground anti-registration movement. After significant rancor and danger to the public as the two sides clash, Captain America voluntarily surrenders and orders the anti-registration forces to stand down, feeling that the fight has reached a point where the principle originally cited by the anti-registration forces has been lost. 119. In the story arc The Death of Captain America, Rogers is fatally shot by Sharon Carter, whose actions are manipulated by the villain Dr. Faustus. 120-121, the miniseries Fallen Son, The Death of Captain America No. 1-5, June to August 2007, examines the reaction of the stunned superhero community to Rogers' assassination, with each of the 5 issues focusing a different character's reaction. Bucky takes on the mantle of Captain America, per Rogers' antemortem request. 122-123. Captain America, Reborn No. 1, August 2009, reveals that Rogers did not die, as the gun Sharon Carter had been hypnotized into firing at Rogers caused his consciousness to phase in and out of space and time, appearing at various points in his lifetime. Although Rogers manages to relay a message to the future by giving a time-delayed command to the Vision during the Kree-Skrull War, the Skull returns Rogers to the present, where he takes control of Rogers' mind and body. Rogers eventually regains control, and, with help from his allies, defeats the Skull. 124. In the subsequent one-shot comic Captain America, Who Will Wield the Shield? Rogers formally grants Bucky his Captain America shield and asks him to continue as Captain America. The President of the United States grants Rogers a full pardon for his anti-registration actions. 2010s. This article's plot summary may be too long or excessively detailed. Please help improve it by removing unnecessary details and making it more concise. August 2016. Learn how and when to remove this template message. Promotional art for Steve Rogers, Super Soldier No. 1, September 2010, by Carlos Pacheco and Tim Townsend. Following the company-wide Dark Reign and Siege story arcs, the Steve Rogers character became part of the Heroic Age arc. 125. The President of the United States appoints Rogers, in his civilian identity, as America's top cop and head of the nation's security. 126, replacing Norman Osborn as the 10th Executive Director of us.dokan.malik. The Superhuman Registration Act is repealed and Rogers re-establishes the superhero team the Avengers, spearheaded by Iron Man, Thor, and Bucky as Captain America. Volume and issue needed. In the miniseries Steve Rogers, Super Soldier, he encounters Jacob Erskine, the grandson of Professor Abraham Erskine and the son of Tyler Paxton, one of Rogers' fellow volunteers in the Super Soldier program. Volume and issue needed. Shortly afterward, Rogers becomes leader of the Secret Avengers, a Black Ops superhero team. Volume and issue needed. During the Fear Itself storyline, Steve Rogers is present when the threat of the Serpent is known. 127. Following the apparent death of Bucky at the hands of Sin, in the form of Scotty, Steve Rogers ends up changing into his Captain America uniform. 128. When the Avengers and the New Avengers are fighting Scotty, the Serpent ends up joining the battle and breaks Captain America's shield with his bare hands. 129. Captain America and the Avengers teams end up forming a militia for a last stand against the forces of the Serpent. 130. When it comes to the final battle, Captain America uses Thor's hammer to fight Scotty until Thor manages to kill the Serpent. In the aftermath of the battle, Iron Man presents him with his reforged shield, now stronger for its Ru-infused enhancements despite the scar it bears. 131. It is then revealed that Captain America, Nick Fury, and Black Widow are the only ones who know that Bucky actually survived the fight with Scotty as Bucky resumes his identity as Winter Soldier. 132. During the Spider Island storyline, Captain America had been captured turned into the Spider King by Spider-Queen and Jackal. 133. He was restored to normal following his fight with Venom. 134–135. In the Avengers vs. X-Men story arc, Captain America attempts to apprehend Hope Summers of the X-Men. She is the targeted vessel for the Phoenix Force, a destructive cosmic entity. Captain America believes that this Phoenix Force is too dangerous to entrust in one person and seeks to prevent Hope from having it. Cyclops and the X-Men believe that the Phoenix Force will save their race, and oppose Captain America's wishes. 136. The result is a series of battles that eventually take both teams to the blue area of the moon. 137. The Phoenix Force eventually possesses the 5 X-Men present, leaving the Avengers at an extreme disadvantage. 138. The Phoenix Five, who become corrupted by the power of the Phoenix, are eventually defeated and scattered, with Cyclops imprisoned for turning the world into a police state and murdering Charles Xavier after being pushed too far, only for him to note that, in the end, he was proven right about the Phoenix's intentions. 139. From there, Captain America proceeds to assemble the Avengers Unity Squad, a new team of Avengers composed of both classic Avengers and X-Men. 140. After Cyclops was incarcerated, and Steve accepted the Avengers should have done more to help mutants, and allowed the world to hate them, he started planning a new sub-team of Avengers in the hopes of unifying mutant and humankind alike. He chose Havok to lead his team and become the new face to represent mutants as Professor X and Cyclops once were. Volume and issue needed. Their first threat was the return of the Red Skull, more specifically, a clone of the Skull created in 1942 and kept in stasis in the event of the original's death, who usurped Professor X's body to provide himself with telepathic powers, which he would use to provoke citizens of New York into a mass assault against mutants, or anyone who could be one, and force the Scarlet Witch and Rogue to allow themselves to be attacked. With the help of the S-Man Honest John, he managed to even manipulate Thor. Volume and issue needed. The Red Skull's skills were still erratic, and could not completely control Captain America. An attack against him was enough of a distraction to lose control of Rogue and the Scarlet Witch. After being overpowered by the rest of the Uncanny Avengers, the Red Skull escapes, but promises to return. In the aftermath, both Rogue and the Scarlet Witch joined the team. Volume and issue needed. During a battle with an enemy called the Iron Nail, the super soldier serum within Rogers's body was neutralized, causing him to age rapidly to match his chronological age of over 90 years. 141. No longer able to take part in field missions but retaining his sharp mind, Rogers decided to take on a role as mission coordinator, organizing the Avengers' plans of attack from the mansion, while appointing Sam Wilson as his official replacement as Captain America. 142. When various Avengers and X-Men were inverted into villains and several villains inverted into heroism due to a miscast spell by the Scarlet Witch and Doctor Doom. 143, Rogers not only coordinated the efforts of Spider-Man and the inverted villains, now called the Astonishing Avengers. 144, but also donned his old armor to battle the inverted Falcon. 145, until the heroes and villains could be returned to normal with the aid of the White Skull, the inverted Red Skull. 146. During the Time Runs Out storyline, Steve Rogers wears armor when he confronts Iron Man. The ensuing fight between the two old friends led Steve Rogers to force Iron Man to admit that he had lied to him and all of their allies, when he had known about the incursions between alternate Earths all along, but Iron Man also confessed that he wouldn't change a thing. The final incursion started and Earth 1610 started approaching Earth 616 while Iron Man and Steve Rogers kept fighting. Earth 1610's SHIELD launched a full invasion to destroy Earth 616, where Tony Stark and Steve Rogers were crushed by a helicarrier. 147. As part of the all-new, all-different Marvel, Steve Rogers became the new Chief of Civilian Oversight for SHIELD. 148, he returned to the Uncanny Avengers where the team is now using the Schaefer Theater as their headquarters. 149. Steve Rogers later has an encounter with an alternate Logan from Earth 807,128. After defeating Logan and bringing him to Alberta, Canada, Rogers tried to reassure Logan that this was not his past by showing him the adamantium-frozen body of Earth 616's Logan. This sight reminds Logan of the need to enjoy being alive rather than brooding over the ghosts of his past. Although he told Steve Rogers what he had experienced in his timeline, Logan declined Steve's offer of help. 150. Alternate Timeline Hydra Duplicate. This article's plot summary may be too long or excessively detailed. Please help improve it by removing unnecessary details and making it more concise. January 2018, learn how and when to remove this template message. During the 2016 Avengers Standoff storyline, Steve Rogers learns from Rick Jones that SHIELD has established Pleasant Hill, a gated community where they use Quebec to transform villains into ordinary citizens. When Rogers is brought to Pleasant Hill, he confronts Maria Hill about the Quebec project. Their argument is interrupted when Baron Helmut Zemo and Fixer restore the inmates to normal. 151. After Hill is injured, Rogers convinces Zemo to let Hill get medical attention. Rogers is then escorted to Dr. Eric Selvig's clinic by Father Patrick. Selvig tells Rogers that Quebec is at the Pleasant Hill bowling alley. During an attempt to reason with Quebec, Rogers is attacked by Crossbones. Before Rogers can be killed, Quebec uses her abilities to restore him back to his prime. Declaring that it's good to be back, Steve defeats Crossbones as Captain America and the Winter Soldier catch up with him. 152. They resume their search for Quebec, and discover that Baron Zemo had Fixer invent a device that would make Quebec subservient to them. Rogers rallies the heroes so that they can take the fight to Zemo. 153. In the aftermath of the incident, Steve and Sam plan to keep what happened at Pleasant Hill under wraps for the time being. 154. In Captain America, Steve Rogers #1, July 2016, the final panel apparently revealed that Rogers has been a Hydra double agent since his early youth. 155, 156, 157. This is subsequently revealed to be the result of Quebec's restoration of Rogers' youth, as she had been taught by the Red Skull that Hydra was good for the world, and having the mind of a 4-year-old child, Quebec changed reality so that Rogers would be the greatest man he could be. Believing Hydra to be good, Quebec permanently altered his memory so that Rogers believed that he had always been a member of Hydra. 158, 159. Some of Rogers' original heroic attributes remain intact, such as covering the death of another Hydra member within SHIELD, Eric Selvig, as well as knowing of Jack Flag's tragic life and his immortality, which is why Steve pushes him from Zemo's airplane, resulting in coma, not death. Additionally, it is revealed that Roger's abusive father, Joseph, was actually killed by Hydra, and that Hydra deceived him into thinking Joseph died of a heart attack. 160. It is also revealed that Rogers witnessed his mother, Sarah, being killed by Sinclair's Hydra goons and kidnapped him, which is the reason why Steve held a grudge towards Hydra's evilness and plans to kill the Red Skull's clone and restore Hydra's lost honor. 161. As part of his long-term plans, Steve further compromised Sam Wilson's current image as the Captain America by using his greater familiarity with the shield to deliberately put Wilson in a position where he would be unable to use the shield to save a senator from Flag Smasher, with the final goal of demoralizing Sam to the point where he will return the shield to Rogers of his own free will, not wanting to kill Wilson and risk creating a martyr. 162. During the 2016 Civil War II storyline, with the discovery of new Inhuman Ulysses, who has the ability to predict the future by calculating complex patterns, Rogers has set out to prevent Ulysses from learning of his true plans and allegiance. Rogers does this by forcing certain predictions on him, such as anonymously providing Bruce Banner with new gamma research to provoke a vision that would drive the Avengers to kill Banner, although this plan has apparently backfired with a recent vision showing the new Spider-Man standing over the dead Steve Rogers. 163-164. Despite this revelation, Rogers presents himself as the voice of reason by allowing Spider-Man to flee with Thor. This inspires doubt in Tony Stark for his current stance by suggesting that he is just acting against Danvers because he does not like being top dog. 165. He then goes to Washington, D.C., the location seen in Ulysses' vision, to talk to Spider-Man, who was trying to understand the vision like he was. When Captain Marvel attempts to arrest Spider-Man, Tony, wearing the War Machine armor, confronts her and the two begin to fight. 166. Later, Rogers goes to Sokovia and joins forces with Black Widow to liberate freedom fighters from a prison so they can reclaim their country. After that, he goes to his base where Dr. Selvig expresses concern of his plan to kill the Red Skull. He then reveals that he has Baron Zemo in a cell, planning to recruit him. 167. He eventually kills the Skull after the villain is captured by the Unity Squad and the Xavier brain fragment extracted by the Beast, Rogers throwing the Skull out of a window over a cliff after Sin and Crossbones affirm their new allegiance to Rogers, Hydra Supreme. 168. In the 2017 Secret Empire storyline, Rogers, as the head of SHIELD, uses a subsequent alien invasion and a mass supervillain assault in order to seize control of the United States. He neutralizes the superheroes that might oppose him, 169, and seeks the Cosmic Cube to bring about a reality in which Hydra won World War II. 170. When Rick smuggles information about the Cube's rewriting of Rogers' reality to the remaining Free Avengers, a disheveled, bearded man in a torn World War II Army uniform appears who introduces himself as Steve Rogers. 171. As the Avengers and Hydra search for fragments of the Shattered Cube, it is revealed that this amnesiac Steve Rogers is actually a manifestation of Rogers existing within the cube itself, created by Kubik's memories of Rogers before he was converted to Hydra, as she comes to recognize that her decision to rewrite Rogers as an agent of Hydra was wrong. 172. Although Hydra Supreme Rogers is able to mostly reassemble the Cosmic Cube, Sam Wilson and Bucky are able to use a fragment of the cube to restore the memory of pre-Hydra Rogers in the cube to corporeal existence, allowing him to defeat his Hydra self, subsequently using the cube to undo most of the damage caused by Hydra manipulating Relay.